This is, of course, meant to support operations. We have, I don't know how many projects, so several projects in construction, being under commission. So it's the bulk of the investment is. But in exploration, we also need to invest, but needs to be proportional to the level of your project. Now people see this, gonna a lot of money. So of course it's the project. Imagine the projects in Brazil, Canada, that I just mentioned to you. Goro project, we're still doing a lot of social projects and environmental projects there. So Vale wants to build strong, with the open relationship with the communities, and to succeed, to celebrate and share the success by creating jobs, educating and investing in the communities. So some examples, it's job creation and economic growth to the country, with a commitment to employ and train local workforces. Environmental conservation initiatives. They will see a few slides ahead. Some beautiful examples. All our mines are ISO 14001 certified. Social outreach programs, different projects. You see in the photos here, of course, about education, but also creating business opportunities for local communities. Education and cultural programs, and social investment activities. Here's an example of the Goro project in New Caledonia. So the photo, like it's bottom right, beautiful photo. It's a world-class nickel laterite deposit. Imagine the impact on I don't say the impact, but imagine, it's the impact on the people's lives, the size of this project there, right? Small island. And one of the concerns of the community was about they were losing the dialect or the language. Okay, so basically, when you engage community from the very beginning, you start understanding their concerns. When you start doing exploration and construction and when you're going to start mining. And then this is on the top right, just a photo of the guy collecting some words from the elders, to understand and to help the people, to preserve and to promote the so-called Kanak language. Yeah. And this initiative is an example of effective engagement with the local communities through the participation and expression of their cultural and linguistic heritage. Here's another example in Mozambique. It's a coal project that I mentioned. We are is under construction. I think it's going to start operation this year. This is an example about resettlement. So we're talking about 1,300 families, about 6,500 people. Okay, so with a family income with less than $100 a month. When the profile of the community, the people in the country is about 70% rural and 30% in the urban zones. So you can see on the top right, how were the houses before. That's some examples of the house that Vale was building for the community. In the center here, in the bottom, is the village still under construction, and on the left side, the hospital, the Mines Institute, and the orphanage. So this is just a few examples that, Still on social responsibility, we find vital, early community engagement, to engage the community from the very beginning. So when you start exploring. So we do engage the communities near and around the projects we are, since the exploration stage. So that we can understand, the social dynamics and the information they need, what are their concerns. We can educate and inform them what is exploration, what is mining. You know, this is the main thing actually. Living in the Philippines here for 2 years and working, I've traveled quite a lot. Went to the provinces, and you see, this is one of the major issues, you know. And then, of course, there are some other concerns and myths, you know. But to educate people, make them understand what is exploration, what's mine, okay, how are we going to impact them here in exploration, how are we going to affect them, you know, or how they can benefit from this at this stage, you know. And we have to manage expectations. Need to manage expectations. The exploration project, you know, mining is gambling, right? It's a risky business. So and the companies are willing to afford to invest a few $1 million to do exploration, but after 2 years, if you don't find what you like, what you want, just go away, right? So you need to bring expectations down, and we'll lay on a solid foundation of trust and mutual respect to build for a possible next phase of the project. So you need to have a solid institutional relationship, you know, starting with the LGUs. I mean, give an example in the Philippines, we need to deal with the local government and barangay council. They need to understand what you're doing, you know, and of course, next step would be the people. Here, an example of our engagement in Masbate. Okay, so I think in about 6 months, we probably reached more than 4,000 or 5,000 people listening to us in 6 months in 40-something barangays, 43 barangays. And this year, from December to February, another project in Panay, about 1,000 people have attended our talks, presentations. On environment, you know, as a large company, you also need to respect the environment and have on our environmental responsibility. We do recognize as a large company, as a mining company, our operations does affect the environment, you know. But to reduce our footprint, you know, we continue looking for new ways, alternatives to preserve the balance between human progress and the natural environment, and actively educate and train people for environmental responsible action. So, examples of environmental action. So, of course, a responsible operation. Nowadays, with technology, it is possible to have a large operation and have everything controlled. Okay. Reforestation, definitely. Green-powered transportation. For example, Vale, it's use a lot of biomass fuel in its locomotives in Brazil. And responsible waste management. There's another example in southeastern Brazil, the state of Espírito Santo, where we maintain a natural reserve with approximately 220 square km, with a vast fauna and flora, various species. So since the reserve was created in 1970s, 96 new plant species have been discovered. This is the Carajás mineral complex. So these are talking about Amazon, northern Brazil, in the state of Pará, where Vale operates the world's largest open pit iron ore. And the company is helping to protect nearly 8,000 square kilometers of the native forest in 5 conservation units. Another shot, protect the rainforest as part of the Carajás mining complex. People love to compare things with Belgium. I don't think it's fair, but 1.3 billion hectares. But of course, Belgium is not a large country, it's a small country. But it's 1.3 million hectares. It's not small. In this particular reserve, it's about 2,000 species of plant make up the flora. It's about 22 hectares, 22,000 hectares in the area. 20,000 species of insects, spiders, mammals. on birds. So of course there's we work together with institutions, universities. There's a lot of research being developed in these areas maintained by Vale. Here's an interesting sequence of slides. Okay, so please pay attention in this area here. Now, the yellow outline. This is the Carajás complex. That's what we call Carajás complex. This is a satellite image. This is a snapshot in 1975. So, as I said, the Carajás mineral province, or Carajás region, is one of the world's largest mining complex. Okay. So here, all green is forest, red roads, blue rivers. The white lines are municipal boundaries. And here white is basically urban areas. 1975, folks. 78. 75, 78. Grow a little bit along the roads here. 85, 10 years later. Okay, so of course, growing from the roads towards southwest. 1990, 15 years later, you see how the deforestation for urban zones or mainly farming. 20 years later, 1995, see all this pink, where's my mouse? All these pink areas, it's deforested, Here, still intact. 1999, growing. 2004. So, almost 30 years after, the forest preserved by Vale within Carajás remains intact. And you can even see the footprint of the mine. This is the area of Carajás, but the mine that you saw in that photo later with the 1K scale with 7 huge pits. You can't even see that. Here's some examples. Well, if you see the photo on the right side before, you wouldn't even say that was a pit before. But that's how rehabilitation can work. Okay, so we see on the left, it's not a pleasant view, but it's a mining operation. This was taken in 2001. 3 years afterwards, if you drive by, you wouldn't even mention. Here's another mine. So, you can see what can happen to the mine at the end, at the closure. Nice other example of a gold mine on the top left. Of course, the mining operation. Then the mine was finished. On the bottom, on the top right, of course, the water level just went up. To the left, start doing some revegetation, and about 4 years later, you would drive by or go, and then you would just think it was a natural lake. This is another example. Of course, there's no water there. So, and this photo was taken 2005. I don't have the other one. Well, you can see how better it can look like, and continue reforestation. Here is for a waste pile on the left doing the operation, and then on the top right and bottom after reforestation and rehabilitation. So yeah, Vale is a global leader regarding sustainability and climate change management. So as a result of all these initiatives, yeah, we've been awarded, a lot of prizes from some Brazilian magazines and also international awards, like as a world leader among all mining companies in the climate change ranking of Goldman Sachs. GS Sustain Report. And also we are proud to be top 5 of the most sustainable companies of the basic material sector.